Welcome to Eat Color with Claudia. It's in the middle of August, and if you were in Rome, you'd be getting ready to celebrate the holiday, Ferragosto, which is on August 15th, happens to be my birthday. It's a day to rest, a day to be happy, a day to cook something delicious, just like this Roman dish, our recipe for today. We start with the chicken. Any chicken pieces you love, but the main thing is the bone. The bone must be in to give this dish the flavor. And sprinkle it real good with salt and pepper, both sides. And now we're just gonna let this sit here while we get the other ingredients ready. We need 1 sweet onion. We need 3 peppers sliced. Most often this dish you use red and yellow peppers because the flag of Rome is red and yellow. Don't slice your peppers too thin because they're gonna be cooking in sauce. We don't want them too mushy. I kind of like this size and thickness, and then I like to do one more step and give it a little chunk. Tomatoes is next. Use your tomatoes from the garden if you have some. If not, these grape tomatoes work really great too. These are really big, so I'm gonna be cutting these in quarters. Well, we've got all the major ingredients ready, so let's get that chicken going. Use a heavy skillet, a skillet that has a lid. Now put your temperature like maybe 1 or 2 notches above medium and drizzle olive oil in the bottom of the pan. Now you want to make sure that your skillet is really hot before you put that first piece of chicken in. Ah, perfect. You should have this nice, beautiful sound. So now I have a lot of chicken pieces. Normally you would just use like 1 whole chicken or maybe 8 pieces of chicken for this dish, but we're having company tomorrow, and so I've got more chicken in here. I got a whole chicken plus 4 additional chicken thighs. This dish, if you make it the day before, it's like even better. How the Romans said, you make this in the morning and you leave it on your stove top, and then during lunchtime or during dinner, you either eat at room temperature or you heat it back up. And it is absolutely delicious. Now you want them to just like sit here for a couple of minutes. We want the sides to get nice and a little bit brown before we flip them. So while that chicken's going, we can keep busy. So we need about 2 garlics, and take the paper off and then we'll just slice them. And we need a heaping tablespoon of tomato paste and about 1/4 cup chopped flat leaf parsley. It might be ready to flip, so let's look to see. We want it to be a little crusty and brown. Oh, like that, that's perfect. Go ahead now and flip each one of your pieces. So our pieces are all, they got some brown pretty much on all sides, and now we're gonna take them off and we're gonna move them onto a plate. Now just add a little bit more oil to your pan. Let's get the onions in. With your tomato paste. Now let this saute in here just for a couple of minutes. This is looking nice, and now let's add the peppers in. And let's add some pepper and some salt. Stir and sit here for just another couple of minutes. And now I think it's time to add garlic slices. And now I waited on the garlic slices because the peppers and the onions kind of give it a barrier from hitting the bottom of the pan. It's because we want the flavor. We don't want it to get burnt. And now we're just gonna let this sit now for another couple of minutes. See how beautiful everything is cooking, and the pan's getting just a little bit dry. So I say it's time for wine. About 1/2 cup. Almost all this wine has absorbed before we go to the next step, which is 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar and 1/2 of your parsley that you've chopped up. Now we'll just quickly stir this up too. Look at these colors. If y'all could just smell this, never mind the colors. In goes the tomatoes. About a half a cup of chicken broth. Now I waited for my juices here to get really simmering again, and now it's time to put all the chicken pieces back in. And just put them on in there, squeeze them in there. About every put your temperature on like medium low. And you want to just maintain a simmer. And about every 10 minutes, just come on over, maybe flip your chicken around, stir it up, keep it covered. The whole process should take about 20, 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, depending on how hot you have it going. But you can always just stick your fork in there to see how tender it is. It should be almost fall off your bone tender. Let's take a look. It's been almost 30 minutes. We've got probably just a few minutes left to go, and we got only one more spice. We need to put some marjoram in there. You know, marjoram is actually in the oregano family, except for it's a lot more mild. They say it's the herb of love. We're gonna sprinkle this on here and kind of stir this up one last time. And I'm telling you, this sauce, oh, speaking of which, you cannot make this dish without getting some really good bread, because you are gonna wanna dip your bread into this sauce. It is unbelievably delicious. This dish is done. Everything is pretty much fork tender. Look at that, just gonna fall apart. Look at this, that just fell apart. This is chicken breast. Okay, so when you go to serve it, put a little bit of your parsley on top of everybody's plate. I'm reheating this up tomorrow because we've got the whole family coming in. And how easy. I won't have to do anything tomorrow except for put it right on the stove and heat it up. Until next week, bon appetit.